What would happen if the dollar, the world's most trusted and stable currency, collapses? Let's start with a bit of context. The dollar is more than just a piece of paper or a number in a bank account. It's the backbone of the global economy, the standard against which all other currencies are measured. When we talk about the dollar, we're not just talking about the currency used in the United States. We're talking about the world's reserve currency. This means it's used by countries around the globe to conduct international trade, to save, and to stabilize their own currencies. The dollar's status as the world's reserve currency has provided it with a level of trust and stability that is unparalleled. Unlike many other currencies that have been devalued or even cancelled in the face of economic turmoil, the dollar has stood the test of time. It's been a safe harbor in stormy economic seas, a beacon of stability even in the most turbulent times. Yet it's not just about stability. The dollar's dominance has also served as a tool of economic power, allowing the United States to exert influence over global trade and finance. In a world that's interconnected in so many ways, the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency is a significant factor in the balance of global power. But despite its dominance, there are several factors that could bring about a dollar collapse. What could possibly lead to the collapse of such a powerful currency, you might wonder? The answer lies in a combination of internal and external factors that, brought together, could potentially unsettle the dollar's dominance. Let's start with the US national debt. It's no secret that the United States has a sizable amount of debt. This debt, amassed over decades, continues to grow, putting pressure on the economy. The more the debt grows, the more the country has to pay in interest, which can lead to a vicious cycle of borrowing and spending. This fiscal imbalance can weaken the dollar over time. Next, we have the trade deficit. When a country imports more than it exports, it creates a trade deficit. This means the country is spending more on foreign goods than it is earning from selling its own. This can lead to a decrease in the value of the dollar, as more dollars are used to pay for imports. Then, there's the aging population. As the baby boomer generation retires, they are pulling money out of the economy faster than it can be replaced. This demographic shift can lead to a decrease in the workforce, slowing economic growth, and potentially weakening the dollar. Political tensions also play a part. Frictions with other countries can lead to economic uncertainty, which can negatively impact the dollar. Changes in foreign policy, trade wars, and international conflicts can all contribute to this uncertainty. Lastly, we must consider the formation of currency alliances by other major powers. Countries like China, Russia, and Iran have been forming alliances like the New Silk Road Currency Alliance to challenge the dollar's dominance. Such alliances can create alternatives to the dollar in international trade, potentially lessening its demand and value. These factors, among others, pose a significant challenge to the dollar's hegemony. As we move forward, it's essential to keep an eye on these factors and understand their potential impacts on the dollar's value. What would be the aftermath of a dollar collapse? Let's delve into some of the potential consequences for the US economy. First off, if the dollar were to collapse, we'd likely see a sharp increase in import costs. Why, you may ask? Well, a weaker dollar means it takes more of our currency to buy goods and services from abroad. This could lead to higher prices for everything from electronics to clothing to cars, dramatically impacting the cost of living for everyday Americans. But that's not all. A dollar collapse could also lead to declining asset values. Real estate, stocks, bonds, these could all take a hit. Imagine a scenario where your life savings, your home value, or your retirement fund is suddenly worth a fraction of its former value. It's a chilling prospect, isn't it? And the fallout doesn't stop there. A collapsing dollar could also lead to increased poverty. With rising import costs and declining asset values, many people could find themselves struggling to make ends meet. The economic stability we take for granted could be shaken, and the ripple effects could touch every corner of our society. But this isn't just speculation. We've seen it happen before. Take the Weimar Republic, for example. Following World War I, Germany found itself with a mountain of debt and a debased currency. Hyperinflation set in, and the price of goods skyrocketed. People were quite literally carting wheelbarrows full of cash to buy a loaf of bread. It was a period of economic chaos and uncertainty that ultimately set the stage for the rise of totalitarianism. And then there's Venezuela. In recent years, this South American country has experienced one of the most dramatic economic collapses in modern history. The value of the Venezuelan bolivar has plummeted, leading to rampant hyperinflation, widespread poverty, and a humanitarian crisis. These examples serve as stark reminders of what can happen when a currency loses its value. And while the circumstances leading up to these situations were unique, they underscore the potential consequences of a dollar collapse. A weakening dollar could have devastating effects, as history has shown us. But what about the rest of the world? How would a dollar collapse affect global economies? As the dollar's dominance dwindles, the world stands at the precipice of a sea of change. The global economy, so intricately linked to the dollar, would experience a dramatic shift. The first wave of this shift would be a surge in economic volatility. For decades, the dollar has been a lighthouse in a stormy sea, guiding the direction of global trade. Its stability has been a cornerstone, anchoring economic relationships between nations. But if the dollar collapses, this lighthouse would falter, and the sea of trade would become unpredictable and tempestuous. Countries that have heavily invested in the dollar, or pegged their currencies to it, would find themselves in a precarious position. If the dollar weakens, the value of their investments and their own currencies would also plummet. This could lead to a domino effect, triggering economic crises in these countries. The silver lining in this scenario might be the potential for a shift in global power dynamics. Emerging economies, particularly those with robust economic structures and less dependency on the dollar, could find opportunities to climb the ladder of global influence. They might even begin to challenge the traditional economic powerhouses, but this changing dynamic of global trade would not come without its own set of challenges. As countries scramble to find alternatives to the dollar, the world could see the formation of new currency alliances. This could lead to a fragmentation of the global economy, with different factions operating under different currencies. Such a scenario could further fuel economic instability and uncertainty. In a world without a dominant dollar, the global economy would be like a ship sailing in uncharted waters. We could see a shift in the balance of economic power, the emergence of new alliances, and a new era of economic volatility. The future is, of course, uncertain. But one thing is clear. As the dollar's dominance wanes, the world can expect increased economic volatility. The collapse of the dollar, while currently speculative, holds serious implications. We have navigated through the dominion of the dollar, the potential factors that might precipitate its fall, the repercussions of such a collapse, and the global consequences that could ensue. From the United States' national debt to the aging population, from political tensions to trade deficits, these conditions could all contribute to a weakening dollar. And should the dollar lose its reserve currency status, the effects could be far-reaching. Higher import costs, declining asset values, increased poverty. These are but a few of the potential outcomes. And of course, the global impact cannot be ignored. As the dollar's influence wanes, the global economy could experience heightened volatility. Currency alliances such as the new Silk Road Currency Alliance could rise, challenging the dollar's supremacy. While the future is uncertain, understanding these possibilities prepares us to face whatever economic changes may come.